I want to tell you a little philosophy of mine about writing. 1,000,000 words. You have to write 1,000,000 words before your guts will be purged enough to write something on purpose. Now, the literal count doesn't have to be 1,000,000. That sounds like so many. It sounds like huge. But pause. The Harry Potter series is just over 1,000,000 words. So 7 books. Some of them are pretty thick. That seems like a lot. But pause, back up, take a breath, breathe with me. Think about everything you've ever written in your life. And I don't mean, so pause, I don't have a strict textbook list of what counts and what doesn't, but like text messages don't really count. Most of our emails don't really count as literature. So the 1,000,000 words have to be literature where you sit down and you say to yourself out loud or just subconsciously, I'm going to write a thing. Now, strangely enough, journals, angsty journals, where you repeat the same word over and over again or something like that, that does count. So text messages don't really count, emails don't really count, things like that, blah, 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 blah. But most everything else you do, when you sit down, you say to yourself, I'm going to write. Even if you don't know what you're going to write, you just write the word like you're angry. I did this one day on a bulletin, in church no less. I was in a mood, and I covered the bulletin, the white space of the bulletin, and I wrote shit. A couple hundred times, I don't know. And I counted that. I've written many millions of words, and again, that sounds magical, but pause. These are just anything I've written. Notebooks, little Google Docs, some of my school assignments that were for writing literature. Actual things, like I've published at this point, so those words counts count. But I am talking about the 1,000,000 words of just when you're just grinding it out, all the random stuff where you're putting forth effort. 1,000,000 words. Now, here's why that's so important. Is because we writers tend to think it has to be something right away. It has to be something on the first attempt. It has to be good, magical, noble, thrifty, brave, uplifting. First draft. Maybe, sometimes, now, I'll just say it, sometimes it is. But that's only because all of the hard work is hidden. Whenever you see somebody spontaneously burst into success, it's like one of two options. One, they had some rich relative. Or two, they did years and years of hard work without announcing it. They just did the grueling hours of whatever the skill was. In this case, we're talking about writing. They just wrote for hours and hours and hours. And then finally, after years of this effort, it snagged, and then they could put forth all of this built-up energy that was waiting for that opportunity to open, that door to open. And we see and we think, oh, wow, he's so lucky, she's so lucky. And it's like, no, they just worked their asses off forever. But nobody saw that because you're not going to, they have a tower of notebooks in the corner that they're going to save until they die. We don't see those. We just see the glorious book that finally got published after all the effort. So back to you. 1,000,000 words. It's smaller than you think it is. If you commit to writing, just all the time, pretty much, whatever it is, journal, loose leaf paper and a clipboard counts. If you're just scribbling, and it has to be like on purpose. It's a weird paradox because you can write shit 1,000 times, and that'll contribute to your 1,000,000 word count. But you just write anything, and then it could be working toward a book, or it can just be some random spontaneous idea. And it can be nonsensical hoopla. It can even literally nonsensical. We're just like, there was a blue truck that flew in a green pillow once their green sloppy dogs had a microscopic chicken spleen. Right? That sounds like madness, but you underestimate the value of just putting these words through. I don't have a cool image for it, but your whole being has words, has stories, has communication, and especially if you've already caught the writing bug, it is poised to process these words. So, the million words, and again, I made up the number. It's a good number. Once you hit that, you'll be pretty set. But like if it's 900,000, that's fine. Like whatever the number, whatever your number is. So it could be different for everybody. I say a million just because it sounds big enough to say, oh, I got to get started. Whatever your number is, it's still there and it's huge, but it includes all of the random drivel that you process out when you're journaling or scribbling something on a napkin, whatever it might be. Push toward that. And by the time you start getting close to your apex or your crest or the threshold, whatever, when you start getting close to your threshold, you'll forget about that. Like if you keep track, starting at word 1, by the time you start reaching your threshold, you will forget about the number and you'll start realizing how limber you are, limber figuratively, inside your word processing spirit, whatever. You'll forget about the number and you'll start finding ways to express yourself that you would not have anticipated beforehand. If that is enough of a mission for you, just aiming for 1 million words, boom, glorious. It will take you where you need to go. But if that's not enough, I have for you a magical course called First Draft First. It's designed to take you from word 0, basically, to a first drafted book. Not published, not J.K. Rowling famous, but just first drafted. Novel. First Draft First. Most of it is writing exercise. Actually, most of it is encouragement. Most of it is the same kind of disposition where I say in the course, you're going to be okay. Just keep at it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Kind of verbiage. And then a big chunk of it is writing prompts, writing tools, writing efforts, things like that. I have made it half price until the end of this particular month. That's 3 more days. 3 more days for half price. Note in these, so currently, and I'll let it linger for a while, the first section, there are 8 sections, all packed with beautiful material. The first section is completely free, where you can just look at all the videos, assignments, all the stuff to your heart's content. And that itself has a couple paths. Path number 1 is you say, wow, boom, this first section got me going. I have what I need. I'm off to write. Awesome. If again you pause and say, you know what, I need some more. I need some more guidance or some more encouragement or just some more writing prompts, writing tools, writing resources. The course is half off for 3 more days. Whatever path you choose, I still believe in you, and I still think you should believe in yourself. And most of that belief on your end of this equation looks like sitting on your bum and typing/writing out the words. So, sit down, grab a keyboard or pen or whatever, and get to it.